Yo! I need a haircut. It's a problem. Have you ever liked a movie and had your friends hate the movie? Or vice versa? Because I had that happen to me quite a lot. Particularly recently with the new La La Land film. I saw it when it was in theaters. I think it's still in theaters, actually. I saw it in theaters and I enjoyed it, but I felt like it wasn't worth the hype. I think for me, there was something in the story that just didn't appeal to me. I don't know if it was the ending, I don't know if it was the lead up, I don't know. But it wasn't my favorite musical film ever made. I enjoyed Moana a lot more. I think that Moana is one of my favorite films ever made that I've seen. I really liked that it was about this girl. She accepted the fate to save the world, but she did it on her own, and she proved to herself that she could do it even though she didn't believe in herself the whole time. And that sort of story of overcoming yourself and sort of running away from your problems and things like that, that really is the kind of story that I love. And I especially liked that there was no love interest. Because sometimes you just want to watch a film about an adventure with nobody falling in love. No one has to fall in love every time. It's totally not helpful. Okay? It gets boring. But, I mean, that's me. Some people love the love stories and wish that Moana had one. Some people were saying Moana in Maui, and that's just weird because he's old. Okay? I mean, I love The Rock as much as the next person, but no. And so, like, Moana appealed to me, and La La Land wasn't really my scene. That happens a lot with different people. You can like different films for different reasons, and that's sort of what I wanted to talk about. Why different films appeal to different people. And I think a main thing that affects this is that some people have certain life experiences and they like to see that reflected in stories, or they just like certain kinds of storytelling. For instance, I don't like horror films, not because I think that there's anything wrong with them, I just don't see the appeal of the fear response that some people really enjoy from a horror film. I don't want to go to a movie and be scared. That's not something that I enjoy. That doesn't mean you can't enjoy it. Other people I know, like one of my best friends, loves horror films. I won't watch them with her, but she watches them all the time, and she knows all the different subgenres. She can tell you everything about a horror film, and like horror versus gore versus psychological, you know, all those things that I don't care about because I don't care about horror films. But I could tell you all kinds of information about children's adventure films. For instance, How to Train Your Dragon, Treasure Planet, Paranorman, Hugo. There are all these films about kids having adventures and trying to fit in. Particularly Paranorman and Hugo. I like films about belonging and adventure. They appeal to me, especially if there aren't any love stories involved. And I think that, you know, different films have different purposes. A childhood adventure story about belonging and friendship is telling a story for a different reason than a horror film. Just like an action film is telling a story for a different reason than a political biopic sort of story. And so all kinds of different films are made for way different reasons. And you may be fans of certain genres, like maybe films that are a political biopic are your thing, and you love Milk and Jackie and The Crown or whatever. Or you prefer something more easy to watch, sort of like cathartic. You want to watch an action film because you don't want to have to worry about the world. You want an escape, and that's what films and TV are for you. And that's a great reason to watch films and television. But some people want gritty reality. Some people want fantasy. It's like every genre appeals to someone else for a different reason. Sometimes a film is made to make money from a certain audience. So, like the Transformers sequels weren't made for North American audiences. They were made for Chinese audiences. That doesn't make them bad films. I'm not saying they were good. They didn't appeal to me, but they weren't made to appeal to me. They were made to appeal to a completely different demographic. And so that changes how the story is told. Yes, that does make it a financial choice and not a creative choice, but that's a whole nother problem. We'll talk about that some other time. I think a really good way to explain this is looking at the different series of Star Trek. So, for instance, some people prefer Star Trek the original series, Captain Kirk and Spock. And that may be because they like the cheesiness of it, or they like the originality or the impact that it had on audiences. Some people prefer The Next Generation because it was more scientific, it was more logical and thought out, and they like Picard's sensibility as opposed to Kirk's sort of emotional attachment to everything. And some people like the reboot films. Some people hate the reboot films. Just like you could like Deep Space Nine, Voyager, or even Enterprise. And none of them are wrong. It doesn't make one better than the other. It just means that you like something else compared to someone else. Sometimes you're not part of the target audience and that doesn't matter because you still enjoy the film. Like, for example, I really like the Disney Fairies movies. Were they made for 12-year-olds? Yes. Does that mean I don't like them? No. I love them. They're silly and they're heartwarming and they're innocent, and that appeals to me. It's not like a big intellectual thing like Citizen Kane or something, but I like it and that's what matters. It doesn't matter that it's not high-class filmmaking. Everyone's got their reasons. Tell me what your favorite film is and why it's your favorite, or tell me a film that all of your friends really liked that you didn't like, something like that. Love to hear from you. Right, see you next time.